When was the last time you looked into a mirror and asked yourself a real question? Not about how you look, not about what others see, but about your life. When did you last ask, am I truly living the life I want? Or am I living a life that others expect from me? Not the life that makes other people comfortable. Not the life that looks acceptable in society. Not the life that earns approval, attention, or validation, but the life that feels real to you. The life that connects with who you are on the inside. We live in a world full of noise. Everywhere we turn, there are rules, expectations, and silent pressures telling us who we should be, how we should behave, and what success should look like. From the moment you wake up, you are pulled in many directions. Work needs you, family needs you, responsibilities grow, bills pile up, and society constantly reminds you that you should be more, do more, earn more, or change something about yourself. It is easy to get lost in that cycle. It is easy to forget who you are behind all those layers of expectation. But here's something many people never admit. Every time you choose what others want over what you need, you send a quiet message to yourself that you do not matter. You teach yourself that your dreams can wait, your feelings can wait, your happiness can wait. You push aside your inner voice, the one that tries to guide you toward what feels true, even though ignoring that voice never brings peace. And the discomfort you feel when something in your life doesn't feel right is not random or meaningless. It is your inner self trying to get your attention. It is your heart reminding you that something needs to change, even if change feels scary. Take a moment and think honestly. How many choices have you made recently because they aligned with your real values and desires? And how many were made out of fear? Fear of disappointing someone, fear of being judged, fear of being misunderstood, fear of stepping away from what feels familiar and predictable. Fear can make you follow a path that isn't yours, even when another path would bring more joy and meaning. But choosing yourself does not mean rejecting others. It does not mean becoming selfish or uncaring. It does not mean ignoring your responsibilities. Choosing yourself simply means you matter too. It means your needs, dreams, and feelings are not at the bottom of your priority list. It means you understand that you cannot give your best to others if you are constantly exhausted, unhappy, or disconnected from your true self. Real love, whether for others or yourself, requires truth, not sacrifice of identity. When you finally begin listening to yourself, something powerful happens. The world around you shifts. You stop attracting experiences and people that drain you, and you start drawing in those who see you, respect you, and value you for who you really are. The universe responds when you honor your truth. Doors open that once seemed locked. Opportunities appear that once seemed impossible. Life begins to feel lighter, even if nothing on the outside changed yet, because you changed on the inside. But before that shift can happen, you must be willing to face the parts of yourself you've avoided, the fears, the doubts, the past wounds, the beliefs that tell you you're not enough. Ignoring them does not make them disappear. Facing them doesn't mean they control you. It means you finally take your power back. This isn't a fast or easy process. It takes patience, honesty, and the willingness to sit with uncomfortable feelings. But with time, something incredible grows from it. Clarity, confidence, peace, the ability to understand what you want and why you want it. Before we fully dive in, I just ask for one small thing. If you can, take a second to like or hype the video. It really helps to reach more people who might need these words today. Thank you. So ask yourself again, slowly and honestly, am I living the life I truly want, or the one I was told to live? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, that discomfort is not a sign to avoid the question. It is a sign to pay attention. Because the moment you choose to listen to yourself, the real you, your life begins to change. Not all at once, not dramatically or loudly, but quietly, steadily, and truthfully. And for the first time, you don't just exist, you begin to live. When you begin happens when you sacrifice your inner peace just to hold on to something that isn't meant for you anymore. The decision will always be yours. And maybe the most important question you can ask right now is, am I finally ready to choose myself? Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is an act of deep love and respect for your well-being. For a long time, many of us were taught that putting ourselves first is wrong, that it means we don't care about others. But the opposite is true. When you choose yourself, you show up with more clarity, more love, and more energy for the people who truly matter. When you make the decision to own your old habits, try to pull you back into familiar patterns, not because those patterns are right for you, but because they feel safe. But real growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Real transformation begins the moment you step beyond what feels familiar and take a chance on what feels true. It happens when you choose honesty over comfort, alignment over approval, and truth over fear. Not everyone will understand your decision to choose yourself. Some people may criticize you, some may question your choices, some may distance themselves because you no longer fit the version of you they were used to. And yes, that can hurt, especially if you care deeply about those people. But choosing yourself means you stop relying on others to tell you who you are or whether you are worthy. You begin to recognize that your value comes from within, not from how others see or judge you. This does not mean you must isolate yourself or push people away. In fact, the opposite is true. When you choose yourself, your relationships begin to shift and evolve. You stop chasing attention or approval. You start seeking connection that feels real and meaningful. You stop settling for one-sided relationships. You begin to crave depth, honesty, and mutual respect. And in that process, something beautiful happens. The right people remain, not because they benefit from you, but because they appreciate you. They love you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. As you live more authentically, your outer world begins to reflect your inner world. This is not luck or coincidence. It is alignment. When you carry internal conflict, you attract situations filled with conflict. When you reject yourself or doubt yourself, you often meet rejection and doubt around you. But when you accept who you are, fully, openly, and without apology, you start to notice how your environment slowly shifts to match that acceptance. This kind of transformation takes time. It will not happen in a single day. There will be moments when progress feels slow. There will be days when you feel like you are sliding backward or repeating old patterns. But that is part of the process. The true test is your willingness to stay committed, especially when it feels uncomfortable, uncertain, or lonely. Many people are raised to believe that self-sacrifice is admirable and that giving everything away, even your energy, your time, and your peace, is something to be proud of. But the truth is, constantly giving at the expense of yourself eventually leads to exhaustion, resentment, and loss of identity. You cannot serve others from an empty space. You cannot build healthy relationships while abandoning yourself. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. Because when you are whole, when you are grounded, when you are aligned with your truth, the love and energy you give to others are real. They come from fullness, not from depletion. So learn to choose yourself, not just once, but again and again. Not only when life becomes overwhelming, but also in the small choices. How you speak to yourself, how you set boundaries, how you protect your peace, how you show up each day. This is why it's important to reflect on your relationships and your environment. Ask yourself, which relationships lift me up, support me, and bring peace? Which ones leave me drained, stressed, or disconnected from myself? This reflection matters because relationships are not just social connections, they are mirrors. The people you keep close often reflect your beliefs, your self-worth, and the emotional patterns you carry. If someone constantly crosses your boundaries, it doesn't always mean they're harmful. It may mean that a part of you hasn't yet learned how to stand firm and protect your emotional space. Setting boundaries is not rude. It is not cold. It is not unkind. It is an act of self-love and self-respect. Your inner voice, your body, your emotions, they all try to communicate with you. When you feel drained around someone, when you feel uneasy, when you feel disrespected or dismissed, those feelings are signals. They are warning lights. Ignoring them will always cost you something, and the price is usually your peace. So allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to change. Allow yourself to release what no longer supports your well-being. And most of all, allow yourself to choose you fully, boldly, and without apology. Choosing yourself means learning how to set boundaries, not as thick walls that shut people out, but as intentional limits that protect your energy and guide others on how to treat you. Boundaries are a sign of self-respect. They are not punishments, and they are not weapons. They are bridges that allow healthier communication, healthier connection, and healthier relationships. When you say no to what harms you, drains you, disrespects you, or feels out of alignment, you are not only refusing something negative, you're also saying yes to peace, yes to clarity, yes to your dreams, yes to what you truly deserve. This doesn't mean ending every relationship or walking away from everyone in your life. It simply means paying attention. It means being honest with yourself about who supports your growth and who benefits from your silence. It means noticing who leaves you feeling calm, understood, and valued, and who leaves you feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, or small. As you begin honoring yourself in this way, something within you begins to wake up. Your intuition. That inner voice, the one that you may have ignored for years because you were too busy trying to please others or live up to expectations, starts to speak louder. It becomes clearer, stronger, and more confident. You begin to recognize the difference between fear and intuition, between habit and truth, between what feels familiar and what feels right. Decisions that once felt confusing begin to feel simple, not always easy, but clear. You start choosing based on alignment rather than pressure. You start noticing how your body responds to situations. A tightening when something isn't right. A sense of expansion when something aligns with who you are becoming. To hear this inner guidance fully, you must learn to lower the volume of the outside world. This means releasing the need for approval, stepping away from the constant urge to fit in, and letting go of the idea that someone else knows what is best for your life. Nobody else carries your hopes, your fears, your memories, your wounds, or your dreams. Nobody else has lived your experiences. Only you can feel what feels true. When you choose yourself, you send a clear message. But remember this: staying where you no longer feel alive does not protect you, It limits you. Remaining in situations that drain you simply because they are familiar only delays the life that could bring you joy, meaning, and fulfillment. Every time you refuse to choose yourself, you close the door to what could change you. Every time you choose comfort over truth, you delay your growth. And every time you silence your inner voice just to keep peace outside of you, you create conflict within you. But the moment you decide, truly decide, that your peace matters, your happiness matters, your voice matters, and your life belongs to you, everything begins to change. Choosing yourself is not selfish. Choosing yourself is freedom. Choosing yourself is the beginning of becoming who you were always meant to be. Change rarely comes easily. Whenever we decide to grow, shift, or evolve, there will always be resistance. But resistance is not a sign that you are failing or making the wrong choice. It is proof that something within you is moving. It is the natural tension between who you used to be and who you are becoming. Growth stretches you. It challenges your beliefs, your habits, and your comfort. So if you feel discomfort on this journey, remind yourself that it is part of the process, not a signal to stop, but a reminder that something meaningful is happening. One of the most powerful ways to move through this kind of resistance is through honest self-reflection. Ask yourself questions that truly matter. What do I value? What kind of life feels meaningful to me? What choices reflect who I truly am, and which ones only reflect who I've been told to be? When you become clear about your values, decisions become easier. Your life begins to feel intentional rather than reactive. Instead of being pulled in 100 directions, you begin walking a path that feels aligned with your heart. And as you align with your truth, you naturally begin attracting people, experiences, and opportunities that match that same energy. Your external world starts shifting to mirror your internal clarity. It's also important to remember that choosing yourself does not mean you must walk through life alone. In the beginning, choosing yourself can feel lonely because you may no longer fit into old patterns, relationships, or roles. But as you continue honoring your truth, the right people begin to appear. People who respect you, support you, and encourage your evolution. They will not ask you to shrink or change to fit their expectations. They will meet you as you are, because they are also committed to living authentically. These relationships feel different, lighter, deeper, and grounded in mutual respect rather than obligation. When you reach this point, something powerful shifts inside you. Life no longer feels like constant uphill work. The decisions that once felt overwhelming begin to come with clarity. You start trusting yourself, you start understanding yourself, and slowly you find a peace that is not based on someone else's approval or outside circumstances. It comes from within. That inner peace grows from honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and living in alignment with your values. It becomes a steady foundation rather than something fragile or temporary. But this inner transformation does more than change your life. It influences others as well. When you live authentically, you become an example. You show others that it is possible to live a life guided by truth instead of fear. Your courage becomes a quiet invitation for others to explore their own path. Without forcing anyone, without preaching, you begin to inspire change simply by being real. Your life becomes a ripple that encourages others to question, reflect, and choose differently. Now take a moment and imagine your life if you allowed yourself to release everything that no longer supports your growth. Imagine letting go of relationships that drain you, beliefs that limit you, commitments that feel empty, and expectations that never belonged to you in the first place. Imagine waking up without the weight of pretending or performing. Imagine having space, not just physical space, but emotional and mental space to breathe, to dream, to explore who you truly are. Feel the lightness that would come with that freedom. That life is not a fantasy. It is possible. It exists on the other side of choosing yourself. When you make this choice to grow, this is the quiet but powerful strength behind choosing yourself. It's not loud, dramatic, or sudden. It's steady, it's intentional, and with time, it becomes unstoppable. As you continue walking this path, something begins to change inside you. The things that once controlled you, your need to be liked, your urge to prove yourself, your fear of disappointing others, start to lose their influence. You no longer spend your energy chasing validation. You no longer feel the need to compare yourself to others or compete for approval. The pressure to be perfect fades. Little by little, you begin to feel comfortable just being who you are. And that feeling is priceless. When you reach this stage of authenticity, you uncover your true power. This power is not about being better than anyone else. It's not about winning or dominating. It's not about control. It is a power that comes from being deeply connected to yourself, from trusting your intuition, honoring your boundaries, and living in alignment with your values. It is a quiet power, but it is strong. And because it is rooted in truth, nothing and no one can shake it. What makes this transformation even more beautiful is that it does not stop with you. The moment you choose yourself, you set an example without even trying. You show others that it's possible to live honestly, to make decisions based on inner truth rather than fear, and to build a life aligned with meaning rather than expectation. People will feel it. They will notice the peace in you, the confidence, the clarity. And without preaching or convincing, your existence becomes an invitation for others to explore their own truth. But it's important to understand that this journey is not perfect or straightforward. There will be days when you feel grounded, strong, and aligned, and days when doubt returns. There will be moments when you question your progress, when old habits tempt you, or when fear whispers that it would be easier to slip back into your old life. These moments are not signs that you are failing. They are part of the journey. Growth requires discomfort. Expansion requires uncertainty. Every challenge, every moment of confusion, every emotional setback gives you a chance to learn more about yourself. When those uncertain moments come, and they will, remind yourself that you're not walking this path alone. Even if it feels lonely at the beginning, the more you step into who you truly are, the more life brings the right people to meet you. You will naturally attract those who support your growth, who understand your boundaries, who celebrate your authenticity rather than fear it. Suddenly, the road feels less like a battle and more like a homecoming. Often along the way, you will encounter signs, subtle hints, perfect timing, unexpected guidance, or experiences that arrive exactly when you need them. Maybe it's a conversation that shifts your perspective, a message that feels like it was written just for you, or a moment of clarity that appears out of nowhere. These moments are not random. They are reminders that you are moving in the right direction. Everything you have experienced, every fear, every victory, every setback has brought you to this moment. And even if the future feels uncertain, one truth remains. As long as you continue choosing yourself, you will build a life that feels meaningful, peaceful, and deeply fulfilling. The greatest gift you can ever offer yourself is the freedom to be who you are, Not a version created for approval, not a mask used to fit in, not a character shaped by expectations, but the honest version of you, the you that exists when no one is watching, the you that feels true. Your journey is not about becoming someone else, it's about returning to yourself. It's about recognizing that everything you have spent your life searching for, love, validation, confidence, purpose, belonging, has always existed within you. This moment is a call to action. Life is far too short to spend it shrinking, pleasing, or pretending. It is too precious to waste on fear, on relationships that drain you, or on roles that don't fit your soul. The time to listen to your intuition is now. The time to honor your boundaries is now. The time to step into who you truly are, not someday, not later, but today. Because when you choose yourself, everything changes. Your energy shifts, your mindset shifts, your relationships shift, and eventually your entire life begins to reflect the truth you've chosen to live. And without even trying, you become a light, someone who inspires others simply by being real. This is the power of choosing yourself. This is the beginning of your becoming. So now the question becomes, what comes next for you? Not in theory, not as some vague inspirational idea, but in your life, exactly as it is right now. After everything you've heard, after everything you've felt, this is the moment where awareness begins to turn into direction. This is where you stop just listening and start wondering, quietly, honestly, what does this mean for me? Maybe there's something in your life that no longer feels right, even though you've been pretending it still fits. Maybe there's a version of yourself you've been holding on to because it keeps other people comfortable, even though it doesn't feel true anymore. Maybe there's a dream you've pushed aside for years, not because it stopped calling to you, but because you convinced yourself the timing wasn't right, or life was too busy, or you weren't ready. But here you are thinking about it again. That alone means something. The next step isn't about dramatic gestures or sudden reinvention. It's about honesty, the kind that you can feel in your body. It's about admitting what feels right and what feels wrong, what feels aligned and what feels heavy, what brings you alive and what slowly drains you. Sometimes the hardest part isn't changing. It's admitting the truth you've been trying not to see. And yes, it can be uncomfortable, because when you begin choosing yourself, you might feel strange at first. You might question whether you're allowed to make changes, whether you're being unreasonable, whether you're disappointing someone. But here's the reality. Choosing yourself does not mean rejecting others. It means no longer abandoning yourself to accommodate everyone else. Over time, something shifts. You start noticing the little ways you've